I only care about this country and the people that live in this country. I'm sorry, but war is a terrible thing. But there's a war happening in about 30 or 40 other countries right now. There's a conflict happening in Sudan right now. Are we taking sides? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? Do you know the thing I see in war? There's not really any good guys. There's not really any bad guys either. Do you know what happens? There's just people dying. But you know what? There's also people making a hell of a lot of money. That's what they don't talk about. The billions that have been stolen by the US, by the British, and also the Zelensky regime. What kind of government skims money off of food ration packs? What kind of regime does that? And what they've done very successfully is they've managed to portray Zelensky as representing the Ukrainian people. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. The vast majority of Ukrainian people in the east of the country didn't want to be part of him and his sick, corrupt government. And it is just vile. It is a vile conflict, you know. And do you know what I hate the most? I hate the most is all these stupid people who think they're tough defending this. If they feel so strongly about it, why don't they go over there, pick up a fucking gun and get on with it? Because I'm sick of them. Because it's so easy just to gob off on Twitter. It's so easy just to gob off and think you're a hard man when young, innocent men and women are dying every single day in that meat grinder. Why is nobody out there trying to say, can we get a peace deal? Can we try and make something better out of this? But no, they don't, because they love war, they love death, and they love destruction. I think on the position of the immediate withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine, it's not a position, though, that I can agree with. And well, I'll tell you why. Because what they never tell you on the mainstream media is that in the months leading up to the Ukraine conflict, well, in the years before it, the Ukrainian regime had been indiscriminately bombing civilians in the Donbas and Luhansk regions, people that they say are their own people. What sort of government shells their own citizens? What sort of government would do that? Do you know what would happen if Russia withdrew their troops? Do you know what would happen? There would be a genocide. There would be whole-scale ethnic cleansing of Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine. Right? And don't say there wouldn't now. I don't like the UN. I don't like peacekeeping forces. That's a different suggestion if they were to go in. But to say that if Russia can just unilaterally withdraw, it would be carnage and bloodshed. So what are they meant to do? Are the Russians just going to just say, oh, well, that's fine, we'll just sit back and allow it? And that really is, it's a bad war. That is a complicated war. And as the gentleman reminded me at the front, they've not just banned political parties, they've banned a church. They've banned the Orthodox Church. Who does that? Who bans a church? To Christians that have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And we've all seen the footage as well of people being tied to trees. Young women, young men accused of stealing, of doing the wrong thing, they've been tied to trees for petty crimes. Just don't give me your nonsense. If you're going to say Russia's bad, fine. If you're going to say Putin's fine, fine. But don't tell me Zelensky's a good guy. Don't tell me he's a good guy, because he's not. And don't tell me the Azov battalion and the right sector are good guys. These are not. These people are extremists.
Yeah, but what has a war in Ukraine got to do with me?
What does it have to do with you personally?
Yeah.
Or with the British people?
Or with the British people in general. It's absolutely nothing.
Okay,
no,
the
two are totally different. Second World War, the parallels are nonsense.
Which side of the Second World War? Russia's side or ours?
I'm not debating with you.
Oh, I know, because I'm an ugly cunt.
Steve.
Yeah.
Achi, chill.
The two comparisons are completely different. It's actually quite childish to go back in the Second World War. This is 2023. It's not 1938.
Imperialism.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about saying that that's an argument for us to get involved. Is Putin going to march on Paris? Is he going to march on Belgium? I mean, everyone knows that's just nonsense. It's just not true. I mean, look, it's just propaganda. It's not. He's not going to march on any of these countries.
Steve, don't give anyone the excuse to say they've been double teamed in an argument.
Poland's next. senior official in the Putin government.
Anyway, don't give any excuses to say there's been some double teaming, there's been noise, blah blah blah. Let's just have a civil conversation, back and forward,
But
one-on-one.
these are all emotional arguments. They're not really based
Not
on
at all. The
reality.
Budapest Memorandum is
I know,
as far
but
as from an emotional argument as it gets.
People break
It's a
memorandums
specific-
all the time.
it's a
People
specific
break-
treaty.
people
okay,
break
so you're
treaties
supporting
all
your
the time.
country to break the treaties that he has signed in the past.
Yeah.
You're supporting.
If it's in our interest to do
So hold on,
Because
who's
I
going
believe
to
in putting this
trust your
country
country? Do you
first.
understand the importance of international relations between countries?
No, because we're the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Ukraine is a corrupt country in
My
Eastern
friend, do
Europe.
you
One of the
understand
poorest
the
People have
countries
importance
in
of
the world.
international relations? Do you see interest in maintaining good
No,
international relations?
I'm not a
You
fan
don't
of the
see any that.
international rule-based orders. I believe in putting this country first.
You're a full-blown isolationist then.
Yeah.
Complete isolation.
100%.
Who doesn't like
You do
borders?
realize you need most of the
100%.
resources
Who
you
doesn't
get
like
from
borders?
abroad.
Well, yeah, and you do business with people. You still buy, like, for example, your president is still buying oil from Russia and pretending he's not. What do you think about that?
I think that we're running
He's still
away
buying
from
oil
the
from
main
Russia. Yeah, but
argument right now.
Zelensky's buying Russia from oil from Russia.
My friend, we need to talk about the actual topic that we're talking about here, about the war
It's
in
called
Ukraine.
pragmatism.
Is it? We're going to talk about Zelensky being an actor in the past and say that that's
He's still
a
an
point,
actor.
a foolproof point that
still an
he's a
actor.
bad president. Ronald Reagan was an actor.
Yeah, it was another
I didn't
con
see,
man.
I don't see any of you guys saying, "Oh no, even Ronald Reagan." What I want to ask you is something simple.
Yeah.
Which side are you actually on? Are you
Not
on the
on
side
any
of this
side.
country, or are you on the side
isn't Putin
of foreign
on NATO?
nations who try to destabilize this
Putin on
country?
I understand the reasons why Putin went into Ukraine. I think to say that this is a completely uncalled for war just simply isn't true. There's been the bombing of the Donbas and Luhansk region by the Ukrainian government since 2014. People were facing bombardment, they were facing attack.
In Moldova.
And these
Georgia,
people have asked to be
Moldova,
helped.
Georgia,
Now,
Moldova.
should he have gone in? Probably not. I'm against war. I don't believe in. I don't
sound like you're
believe in
justifying
wars.
it.
I'm not justifying. I'm just saying I can
Sounds like
understand
a
why.
justification.
Well, because people do bad. What?
Just say why is a justification.
Yeah.
You're literally justifying
Yeah.
why he invaded Ukraine.
Correct. I'm telling you
So
why
you
he
are
did
justifying it, man.
Yeah.
Okay, look,
So-
let's not get into semantics
Well,
too much.
but you're best pals now with Britain and America.
My best
Britain and
pals?
America have
We're all
gone around
British,
the
aren't we?
world and bombed countries and invaded countries with impunity.
Okay, Britain and
And they
America
get away
have
with it
had
'cause they're
some
at the
bad
top of the chain.
interventions,
So Putin
but they've
needs to get
also
away
had
with
some
it
very
too.
good
That's
interventions.
really
You agree with that?
Yes.
Some very good interventions Britain and America have had.
Probably since World War II, no. None. They've all
Really?
been a waste of
The
time.
first
Yeah,
war in
they've
Iraq,
not-
you wouldn't say it
Sierra
was a
Leone?
good
No.
intervention?
They've nothing to do
No,
with us.
not the
Nothing to
first
do with the people of this country. Nobody
You know
was
they
ever
had
voted
treaties
on
with
it.
Kuwait. They were
Nobody was
allies
ever-
with Kuwait. You have to respect your treaties, or else the other countries will
No,
not respect your country.
I believe in putting this country first, the people of this country first, and that's it.
Okay, so your whole argument rests on Russia is not going to invade us anytime soon, so we should not help Ukraine.
Correct.
Right. Do you understand that the situation in Europe and in the world, especially economically, is being destabilized because of this war?
It's been stabilised because of the West's response to it. The war would have been over by now unless we hadn't pumped it full of money and weapons.
Sure of that?
Yeah, it would
You
have been
don't think
over.
the Ukrainians would wage a guerrilla war
sure.
against the
In what
Russians?
way?
I'm sure there would have been a peace settlement by now. NATO,
understand the Ukrainian people?
NATO have pumped millions and billions of dollars, weapons, and everything to keep this going. They could have had a peace deal by now. The thing is, as well, see my position. My position is the position is held by the majority of people in this world, apart from China, the most populous country in the world.
A lot of people
India,
are fleeing China right now. Never thought
India,
you would start defending China. but that's
Brazil,
interesting.
South America.
The Brazilian president
Yeah.
does not represent their people. Now, I know the Brazilians
He's
better than
elected
most
as
people.
a
I've
president, he
known
doesn't
many-
represent them.
I mean, look, you don't see
The world-
Rishi's- you don't see any of the government in the UK
the world
as
doesn't-
representatives of the UK. I know what you guys believe.
The world doesn't
You don't
stand
see
with
them as
Ukraine.
your representatives.
It does, my friend.
So
Look around the
suddenly
building.
you say
That's
that
not the
Lula
world.
represents Brazil.
This
the
isn't
rest
the
of the
world.
world. And
The
the
world
rest of
doesn't
the
stand
world.
for
I
Ukraine.
think we're kind of
world.
deviating.
Drive
a
through
little bit.
villages
but
in
you're-
rural
but you're-
England.
is,
They're
hold on, the
covered in
point
You're trying to
Ukrainian
emotionally
flags.
blackmail
I'm not
Countries
emotionally
not
blackmailing you at all. I'm making
ever
you
driven
a
out of
reasonable
London through
argument
the countryside?
about
Through
international
villages?
agreements,
There's flags,
not about
there are
emotions.
flags.
I don't remember making a point to you that, oh, you know, people are dying, we need to help. No,
forests, in the
I never
Cotswolds,
even mentioned
they're
this.
everywhere.
So you telling me that I make making an emotional
not
argument
risking World
is
War
an
III.
adominum immediately.
It's not risking World War III.
Shows you running out of arguments, sorry to say. But the point is, in this situation, UK is not under immediate threat from Russia by
No, of course
tomorrow.
we're not. And we never
But
will
why
be.
is it that Eastern European countries like Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Finland now have joined NATO? Why is it that those countries
Because
are
they're
so
stupid.
afraid of Russia?
Oh,
They're stupid.
they're all
Every single
stupid.
one of them is
All
stupid.
of Poland
So
is
hold on.
stupid.
But
You
they're-
respect
they're-
the
they're
decision of the
prepared-
countries who support Russia, but you don't respect the
They're
decision of the
prepared
countries
to
who
give up
oppose
their
Russia.
sovereignty to NATO and become dominated by the
Like
US
Turkey,
sphere of
like
influence.
Turkey.
I could say
Turkey
that
giving
every
up its
BRICS
sovereignty.
country is
I mean,
giving their
what
sovereignty to China. What would you say to that?
I'd say they're working in tandem with China because China don't actually expect countries to buckle under the pressure the way the
really?
Americans do. So this is the thing.
So you don't know how China
what Ukraine have
does
done.
international
What Ukraine have done is that they will not be an independent sovereign country now because they're in the US sphere of influence. And the Americans will
we're
just
not?
rape
Like we're
Ukraine. They'll rape it. They'll have BlackRock in. They'll have all Vanguard. They'll have all the
satanic
corporations
US,
in.
right?
It is a satanic
Might let the
US.
Jews in.
It is the great Satan. America's a horrible country. Nobody likes the Americans anymore, and Ukraine have palled up with the wrong side.
You know, sorry to say, but in modern days, in our days, to say we're gonna de-satanize a country, we're attacking this country because it's satanic.
I don't think
it's a
Ukraine's
modern
satanic.
day. It's a modern day.
I've actually-
witch hunt.
I don't think
It's
Ukraine's
a modern.
satanic.
That's what the Russians are saying about the Ukraine.
Well, as I said,
That's
I-
what you are saying
I-
about the US.
I
and
don't
that's what
agree
the
with that.
Russians
Because it's
are
best
saying
mate's
about
Anthony
the US
Weber,
too.
who's on
Hold
their
hold
payroll.
on.
That's why.
But that's a good point, though. That's a good point, though.
They're
You have some
occasionally
people
made.
here working with you who work for RT, and you call yourself
I don't think
unbiased.
they work for RT. I think they do programs with RT. I don't actually know their employment status.
Potato,
Well,
potato.
people work for the BBC, which is the British
Apparently I work for
government.
Hope Not Hate.
Yeah,
you
the
make
BBC
that point, so you're not
is
worried
now
about
fully
details
founded
then, are you,
by
my
the
friend
British
David?
government without having any freedom to criticize the British government. In Russia, you literally cannot criticize the government, or else
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying we shouldn't give any weapons, we shouldn't give any money to Zelensky.
Okay, we're going back to the first.
If anything, I would actually say, you know, this is a shame, I feel bad for them, but why should we give them their weapons and our money?
to
Just let
defend
them
themselves
die.
from a Russian invasion.
Yeah, but why shouldn't we do that with every country that gets defended, that gets
Because
attacked from
Ukraine was
anyone?
part of the Budapest Memorandum, and the British have promised the Ukrainians to help.